What the fuck? I thought we had an understanding. Betty looked at the key reflectively. First law of the underworld: never, ever trust a demon. You see, my primary priority in this scenario is to escape from my cage. After that, I get bonus points for certain things like killing the werewolf, trapping a mortal, etc. So, are there other bonuses I should be aware of? Maybe. All right, you taught me a lesson. Now, are you going to let me out of here or what? Let's see what's in that chest first, then we can talk. I brought out my lockpicks and started fiddling around. An image of 5 pins appeared in my mind's eye. This one was much tougher, and they kept sliding back down. Frustrated, I tried to power through with brute force. The lockpick snapped off in my hand. Fuck! I didn't know these things could break. What did you expect in a werewolf's cage? Said Betty. It's like fingering a clitoris. You can get a lot further with finesse than muscle. I'll remember that. Fortunately, I still had 4 more picks in the set. This time I relaxed and let my fingers do the walking. Suddenly it all fell into place and the lock popped open. I got the tingling sensation. Betty gave me a slow golf clap. Congratulations, sweetheart. So what did you score? First off, I got a better unbroken sword. It was still kind of short, but was brilliantly polished and sharp on both edges. The hilt even had some gems in it, clearly a quality item. There was also a wineskin, a loaf of bread, and a ring with a diamond in the setting. I tried the ring on the ring finger of my right hand, and it fit perfectly. Ooh, nice, said Betty. That ring will improve your sword fighting ability substantially, especially now that you have a much improved sword. Does the new blade also contain silver? No, afraid not. You will need to retain the broken one for werewolf duty. You are a regular fount of knowledge. After a moment's thought, I added, how about you let me out of here and I will give you some of this bread? I opened the cap of the wineskin and sniffed. And share this lovely wine with you. Nice try, but I'm afraid it's going to take a little more than that. Huh? I looked at the ring and the sword in my hand. Not those, silly. Betty made a circle with her right thumb and forefinger, then moved her left index finger back and forth through the hole. Hey, that's coercion, I said. Second law of the underworld, see the first law. I begrudgingly agreed to Betty's condition and she released me from the cell. She dropped the key into my open palm. We split the bread and each took a healthy sip of wine. How do you know I won't renege on our agreement? I asked. If you can't be trusted, why should I? I'm a pretty good judge of character. Not to mention I could withhold valuable information and you would be royally screwed. Don't some people leave you locked up and go it alone? Of course, said Betty. But they generally don't make it very far. So what happens if I die down here? I have no idea. That's between you and upper management. That wasn't especially helpful. However, she did have me pegged on keeping my word. Besides, I rationalized, what kind of loyalty did I owe to Miranda? Anyway, it seemed more like an issue of survival than cheating. All right, I said, should we go back to that crappy cot and do the deed? Actually, now that I have your consent, we can do much better than that. This way. Betty led me back up the lighted hallway and left at another dark corridor. Soon my flashlight revealed a locked iron door at the end of the hall. There was no peephole. Go ahead, try your key, she said. I did, but it wouldn't budge. I tried a lockpick, but the image I got in my mind was of pins receding off into the distance. At least 50 of them. That's impossible, I said. For you, maybe. Betty reached into her cleavage and pulled out a golden key. She inserted into the door and it instantly yielded. What if I had just taken that key from you? I asked. Betty studied her claw-like nails. Theoretically possible, I suppose, but I wouldn't bet on it. At any rate, it's a moot point. Let's take a look inside, shall we? Lights came on as I opened the door, and what I saw was completely unexpected. It was a full-on suite right out of the Ritz-Carlton, complete with a massive king-sized bed and fully stocked liquor cabinet. A long side table was piled high with a feast fit for a king. The aroma hit me and I started salivating. This looks too good to be true, I said. Is there a catch? You've already paid the price of admission. Everything here is just icing on the cake. I realized how hungry I was and began stuffing my face. Then I remembered my manners and brought a plate of dates and grapes over to offer to Betty. Thank you, my dear. She began seductively licking the fruit before devouring it with those pearly white teeth. Her eye teeth seemed slightly longer and pointier than absolutely necessary. When I could eat no more, I washed it down with some real coffee. This place seemed more like heaven than, well, the other place. I propped up the pillows on the luxurious bed and laid back to start digesting. Betty slithered in alongside me. rested her head on my shoulder, and unbuttoned my shirt. She gently caressed my chest. Now that she had me where she wanted me, she seemed in no hurry to consummate the deal. Eventually, though, consummate we did. Betty definitely lived up to her self-proclaimed billing as Queen of Seduction. And frankly, after endless frustration with Miranda, I was ready for it. Over the next hour or two, Betty showed me positions and techniques I could never have imagined before, and left me begging for more. Afterwards, we shared a hot bath where she scrubbed my back and washed my hair, her fingers massaging my scalp with unerring delight. Finally, she patted me dry with overly fluffy towels and dressed me in velvet pajamas. We shared a nightcap of Courvoisier in the beautifully appointed sitting room. Betty cuddled up against me and offered, "See the good things that happen when you give in to temptation." I must admit this is fantastic, but I can't help thinking it's all going to come crashing down around me. After all, you told me never to trust a demon. Don't worry, there will be plenty of shitstorms up ahead, but enjoy it while you can. I took a swig of my cognac. How do I know you're not just racking up brownie points? Well, there is that, she said. But there's also this. And she reached her subtle fingers into my pajama bottoms.